What's up, YouTube? My name's Jamie, or Coach JS, or Jay's Method, you guys may know me as. I'm here on my stream, twitch.tv/JS Method, if you want to see stuff like this more often and live. Right now, we're talking about how to get out of bronze, and I kind of want to talk about this and approach, like, from the coach's perspective. You know, I've coached hundreds of people this past year. I've coached, 50, 60, 70 bronze players within the last year. But I want to talk about the common trends that I see, what's most common, and kind of like how you get out of bronze, right? So the biggest thing, immediately, number one problem I see with all bronze players is complete lack of games played. Because like bronze players will come to me at the end of the season and they'll have like 20 games played and they'll be like, "Hey man, why can't I get out of bronze in my 20 games?" It's like a couple of things. First of all, that's not enough games to get out of bronze, right? You actually need to play the game to kind of progress through the ranks. That's part of the game. It's part of an esport. That's one thing that new players don't understand, right? Rank isn't just given to you in this game. This game's a lot more like a sport where you actually have to work and perfect and practice your skills to get good. And what does that require? It requires games played. Lots of games played. So we see this guy, right? A guy on stream this season, right? The season's been out, we'll say about 2 months, right? And you have about 40 games played. That's not even enough games to like recognize patterns and stuff, right? People will ask me for op.gg reviews and stuff on stream, and if they have under 50 games, I don't even look at it because it's like it's so weird, right? It's so weird. So like, why does it matter? So the first mistake is not enough games, right? And here I'll write bronze mistakes. Number one, it's very, very rare that I find a bronze player comes to me wanting coaching and they have more than like 50 games, right? So number one, play more games. And here, we could even look at your last season, right? So let's see, in 2021. Oh yeah, you played 8 games here, 4 games here. You played 15 games the entire season. Of course you're bronze. You've never played the game before, right? Your account level's 53. You're so new to the game that like, there's no other place that you can be, right? Once you hit level 100, once you get 200, 300 games in, like that's good. So what I tell people is if they want the really explosive improvement that I coach for, I say minimum is like 3 games a day, right? If you want really explosive improvement, 2 to 3 games a day, right? So that if your goal is to improve, try to play 2 to 3 ranked games. Actually, it doesn't even have to be ranked if you're really, really new. But if you're hopping into ranked, per day, right? 2 to 3 ranked games per day. That should be enough. And by the end of the season, this comes out to, the season's around 300 days. So if you're playing 2, it comes out to around 600 to 900 games, right? This is enough to work with at the end of the season. But people will give me an op.gg with 100 or 200 games at the end of the season. And it's like, you don't play the game enough to actually improve on anything. You just play to, I don't know, like for fun or whatever. It's not enough. So, number one mistake is you don't play. You got to play some. And here, let's look at these other accounts and see how true that is. So this guy has 50 games, which isn't bad, but he's almost out of bronze, and he was silver. Yeah, so this guy isn't even a bronze player. And last season, he ended the season with 50. He ended the season with about 100 games, and he was silver 4, right? Like, this guy, again, has 18 games played. This guy has about 50, a little over 50, but again, it's a silver player. It's almost impossible to be bronze with like 100 plus games. All right, so that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, the second most common mistake I see is not picking a champion, right? So like too many champions. Too many / complex, right? The more simple a champion is, the easier it is to learn them and learn the identity and climb with them. Champions. The most important skill in League of Legends for the solo queue ladder is champion identity, champion mastery, and kind of role assessment. All 3 of those are complemented by playing one champion. If you play multiple champions, it slows down your progress on all 3. if you play 2 champions, it'll take you like, usually I say about like a third, like 30% or 33% longer to climb, right? If you play 3 champions, it'll take you like 50% more time. If you play 3 champions, it'll take you like longer and longer and longer, right? And that number like starts to go down with the more champions. But if you want to climb, have a champion, right? The smaller, the better. Like if I look at your account, my first reaction is, why would you play anything other than Fizz? Just play Fizz. If Fizz is banned, dodge. If it's a bad matchup for Fizz, play it anyways, because you're in bronze and it doesn't matter, right? If you just played Fizz and you had this win rate, you would not be in bronze very long, right? You would be silver if you just played Fizz. Whenever your overall win rate is bad or a lot lower than your main champion's win rate, that is a really big indicator that you should only play your main champion and stop playing anything else. Champion identity and champion mastery is enough by itself to get you to platinum 2, right? That's the general rule I give. And if you have any other skills, right, you get to diamond and, you know, whatever. So too many champions. If you are going to play a lot of champions and it's kind of a requirement for you to play a lot of champions, that's fine. Just pick simpler champions and no more than, like, ideally 3 is the sweet spot, right? But no more than 5, right? Playing one champion gets a little bit tricky because if you put too many games in one champion, your perspective on the game gets so tunnel focused on one perspective that it's hard to play other champions. So if you do want to have a pool later on, you might have to play 2 or 3, but really just play 1 until you're out of bronze and then pick up other champions. And then again, keep your pool under 3. That's for everybody's career all the time, always. So not enough games, too many complex or too many champions in general. Other mistakes, a big one is lack of responsibility, right? And this is important. Lack of responsibility. Now, you may ask, like, because a lot of bronze players come to me and they're like, oh, I have bronze teammates and they're bad and I can't play with bronze teammates. Well, first of all, there are like, you're playing against bronze players, so it shouldn't matter, right? You should be able to beat a bronze player so incredibly hard, it doesn't matter. Like, literally your teammates are not making it unlosable. Second of all, it's actually easier to deal with bronze teammates than it is to deal with like diamond plus teammates, right? If you're playing in a high elo game and you're playing in a challenger game, let's take a challenger game, and your challenger top laner trolls first blood, that game's over, right? If he gets dove on the 3rd wave at 2 minutes into the game and their jungle and their top gets a kill and your top lane gets denied 3 waves, that game's done. You're done, right? So people think that trolls will go down the higher elo you go. That's not true. Trolls actually get worse. So like there's a couple reasons this responsibility is bad, and I'll start writing it down. First thing is, everyone is bronze, right? Which means your teammates aren't worse than the enemy team. Everyone's bronze. So that's a misconception. Like, oh, my teammates are worse. If your teammates are consistently worse over a large sample size of games, that means you're the common factor and you just need to improve your action. A lot of people don't realize the kind of compounding effects of their actions. Compounding effects of actions. And this is because you don't know what you don't know, right? Which isn't like your fault. But what is your fault is not kind of recognizing, it is not recognizing that there's room to improve at, right? So compounding effects of actions, you need to kind of recognize that if you played better, you'll get better teammates. I once remember, okay, I boosted an account from Platinum 4. The account was Platinum 4, and I boosted it to, no, sorry. It was a couple years ago, and I boosted the account from Gold 4 to Platinum 4, right? And I had a 92% win rate by the end of it, and it was over like probably 30 or 40 games because the MMR was pretty bad. So we'll just say 35 games. 35 games. And somebody looked at it and was like, no, man, you just got lucky teammates, right? Your teammates, you didn't have enough losing teammates. When I play in gold, my teammates lose. And it's like, no, you don't understand what's happening, right? The things that I do creates my, like, makes my teammates better, right? By me, having priority mid, all of a sudden my jungler has space to step into. By me not dying, I get to set up plays that you don't even have access to set up to because you were dead in that situation, right? By me having more income, right, I'm able to snowball harder. I'm able to, whatever. The actions that you take have compounding effects, right? I kind of talk about like a rock dropping into a lake, right? Any bronze player will be able to see the rock fall into the lake, right? Anybody can do that, right? Oh, you died. It's bad. They get 300 gold. That's bad. What you don't realize are the ripple effects, right? Because when I play perfectly, these ripple effects are very positive for everybody around me, right? And it hurts the enemy, right? Where when a bronze player plays, they'll see the rock fall and they're like, oh, it sucks the rock fell in, but they don't realize that just causes everybody to be behind, right? I had a gold Yasuo player that I coach, and he doesn't understand this, right? Like he used to last season, he had this really big problem with freezing, right? And he would freeze on a Katarina, and the Katarina would roam bottom and get like a triple kill. And he'd be like, oh, what the fuck, man? My team's so bad, they died to the roam. It's like, no, by you freezing, you let her have priority, you gave her access to the bottom roam, and then she gets the kill. That's your fault, right? You freeze, and the rock falls into the water, and you're like, oh, I got an income advantage through CS, I'm winning. But you don't recognize the first layer is, oh, she gets roam priority. And the second layer is, oh, she's playing Katarina, and she gets a triple kill bottom. That's not worth it, right? So just kind of, there's always stuff you can improve on, is the mindset you should have, even if you don't know what it is yet. Because a lot of bronze players will come to me and be like, I'm playing perfectly, I'm winning all my lanes, and they're really not, right? The things you're doing are actually actively hurting you and your teammates. So lack of responsibility, everybody's bronze, compounding effects of actions, and then you can always improve. You can always improve, no matter what happens. Always improve. There was always, in every situation, a time where you could have gotten out of it, or you could have done something different, or there's a different play available to you, or you could have opted out of it, or you could have prevented it, whatever. There's always other options, and you can always improve. So these are my three biggest, these are all the mistakes I see in bronze. They're actually pretty similar to my silver mistakes list. So maybe I'll even call this video bronze plus silver. Silver is a little bit different because once you get to silver, you start to see that people do have games and they're still getting stuck, but usually it's because of these bottom two parts. So the only difference is in bronze, the games is much more important. And then in silver, the too many champions and lack of responsibility is important, right? But yeah, that's my mistakes video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be getting to the next elos soon. If you guys want to see any other elos, let me know. If you guys want to come watch my Twitch stream where I do stuff like this live and play games, check it down in the description, twitch.tv/JaysMethod. And I'll see y'all for the next video. Peace.